Well, I may be really annoying people, but I'm going to be apologizing to Gerry for the whole day because due to the peculiarities of YouTube and the internet, sometimes even when I upload a video, it's the later video that comes out first. So there may be things out of sequence or order. I apologize. I'll even apologize to Nora for the videos being a little out of sequence because she published this Donkey Kong video that's attracted a lot of attention, but the commentary may not be aimed at that particular video. So I want to be fair to both sides. Okay, so what is the deal? Well, Alanzo, a very controversial activist against the official Church of Scientology, has garnered a lot of attention for allying himself with DOA. And, okay, well, I don't even know where to begin. Okay, so I guess preemptively people are going to say, who are you? You're just OSAs. Well, it may surprise people, but I actually am genuinely critical and say, well, Mr. Expert Criticism Guy, where's your receipts? Oh, I've got plenty of receipts there. And and again, to be fair, I'm going to be actually consistent. This may be the last video I'm consistent because you kind of just admit failure. Because, which is Alanzo's point, is that there just really isn't room for honest criticism in this, whatever we're going to call it, ex Scientology. I don't want to call it anti Scientology. It's not. This has nothing to do with anti Scientology. It's a very strange ex Scientology space where, again, this is the way the tribalism works. You have to basically do an echo chamber. And I've tried very hard to avoid that. But if you want to have traction on YouTube, you got to do that. You really, really got to do that. So, and again, I could go through a lot of complexities in particular. So let me just keep it very simple, very simple. So a couple weeks ago, and by the way, those videos are still up there. So if you want to be curious, I provide the receipts as well. So several things happened. One is another ally of DOA, Chi, was shown to be the nicest thing you could call it, socializing with a predator, Lorne, who got caught on the Chris Hansen show. And he's a bit of a kind of global lolcow. He's basically just this idiot that there's a lot of views made about him mocking him and his various Chris Hansen appearances. So, yeah, he's a complete mess. And Chi decided to just have some bizarre, weird games with him online, pretending to be someone else, and then hanging out. And DOA likes to panic about the PDF. Almost every other video, he's panicking about PDF. Right? Now, I warned some of these ex Scientologists, alleged ex Scientologists, I'll say, that, yeah, you're now hooking up with somebody who has a very questionable record. And they're like, yeah, that's all well and nice. But when this whole clown show is over, somebody's going to have to tell the honest history here. Like, most people are going to look really bad. I'm not going to exclude myself because I was once an Aaron fan. So I was defending Aaron for a long time because the charges against him seemed pretty mind blowing. Was he really a predator harming all these men and women? And the answer is yes. So that's where we are, that this toxicity has been here for a while. And I've tried to warn a lot of people, so I'll be consistent. I think it's very alarming that Gerry is willing to help DOA in any way. Because what about his victims? Do his victims not matter? And I guess the answer is yeah, they don't matter. They're not convenient to certain activists. So those victims need to go away. Their stories need to be manipulated or distorted or thrown out. Okay, well, that's kind of disturbing. Unfortunately, the anti DOA side, which is now apparently the anti Alanzo side, is doing the same thing. They're throwing out false accusations or accusations, to put it mildly, with not a lot of weight behind them because nobody does any fact checking or double checking because you're like, yeah, that's not a thing. So, and again, I don't necessarily agree with Alanzo. People can't seem to fathom that some of his stances are fine, but some of his stances are a little wonky. So Alanzo's basic gist is twofold. One is you can dislike or be outraged by various church policies or programs or whatever, such as whatever, take your pick, the auditing or disconnection, etc., etc. Take your pick. The church does a lot of stupid stuff. However, whether you like it or not, and you can label it whatever you want. You can label it as one of them says, that's disgusting. The question is, simply put, is it illegal? And Alanzo has challenged people, can you find me actual statutes, actual laws saying this is actually illegal? Because as far as I know, the court record has ruled in this through the Wallersheim case, where he won, by the way, but auditing came up, and the courts for now have declared, yeah, there's nothing illegal about that. So that's over. And a lot of people think they're experts. No, it's not illegal. Not illegal. Again, good or bad, the U.S., and I looked this up independent of Scientology. I was looking up just curiosity months and months ago before this current controversy. Yeah, there's not actually a lot of regulations on therapy. Therapy is given a lot of free range, which, good or bad, that is how it is. That's just how it goes. Parents are given pretty extensive freedom to put their children in all kinds of weird therapies. Whether we like it or not, they are given that freedom of choice. And this one woman in particular was really stupid, saying, well, I blame the parents too. Okay, well, call the police and call the FBI, because you're going to get a really big laughing response saying, yeah, that's not a thing, stupid. So Alanzo's one major point, we'll get to the next major point, which I will vehemently disagree with, by the way. Okay, well, if it's not illegal, like it or not, those church programs will not go anywhere. So his solution is regulated. And that's supposed to be evidence that he's really secretly OSA. That is not evidence he's OSA. That's just his opinion. You can still disagree with it. You can even fight it. But looking at the actual legal cases, he seems to be correct. And no one has provided any counter evidence to that at all. And I've listened patiently for hours and hours and hours to Nora and other people destroying Alanzo. He's evil. He's a predator. He's OSA's. He's an OSA plant. Can you provide statutes that disprove his claim? No. They never do. They never ever do that. So it's like, okay, score one for Alanzo. But now we're going to get to disagreement. And Alanzo's second point is that we need to reform Scientology because we have, quote, gains in Scientology. That's Scientology terminology. Well, there we go. That proves you're OSAs. Right. Okay, calm down. I'm disagreeing with him. So his idea is maybe what we need to do is repackage Scientology into this weird mix of Buddhism and reformed Hubbard ideology, sell that off. Now, Alanzo's not an independent Scientologist. I guess people cannot listen to the guy. He's just saying, as a legal matter, concentrate on the leadership, put them in jail. Put the Sea Org people possibly in jail. Alanzo was never in the Sea Org. So that's a bit cowardly, frankly, but so be it. Okay, that's the stance. And legally, he might have actually a strong case there. Okay, but as far as tolerating Scientology, I think both Alanzo and people who hate him don't want to read books, and they certainly don't want to read logic. That's not a legitimate step, right? In other words, just think it through for 3 seconds. That's not correct. So I think what Alanzo is saying is that we can't have a free society unless we have some freedom of debate and opinions. That is correct. And the U.S. is really bad on many things, but with the First Amendment, it's actually pretty strong. There are very few countries that have the First Amendment to this extent, or the First Amendment at all. There is some ideal of free speech, but it's very weak. So the U.S. is pretty out there. I think that's valuable. The church is manipulating that, but, that's how it is. So I agree with Alanzo. However, there are different varieties. So apparently what he wants is maximal tolerance for Scientology. We don't need to grant that. You can maintain a free society and not have maximum tolerance. My stance would probably be minimal tolerance, right? Especially if you're a vicious fascist cult, which is what Scientology has and what Aaron has. Say that much. It's a little dodgy. Okay, so there are other stances. You can be in the middle. You can have moderate toleration. But Alanzo wants maximal toleration. We need maximum toleration. That's not necessary. That is not a proven step. That is not logically necessary. That is logically questionable. But let's go with intolerance. Let's follow the Nora path, which is not true, by the way. She's actually lying through her face. Apparently, these bozo clowns who hate DOA can't double check her record. So allegedly now, Nora's revising her record where for decades she was fighting the church. No tolerance. I will destroy all Scientology. I will not allow any Scientology in my sea work. Okay, great. So let's go with her revised record. Actually, she's been a hardcore activist for over 20 years. Got it. Okay, so Nora takes the stance, I hate Scientology, I hate Hubbards, I hate everything. I hate Mike Rinder. No, she was supporting Mike Rinder for a long time. But, whatever. Whatever. We're now embracing not just the free zone, but the fact-free zone. Okay, fine. What has that yielded? Oh, nothing. Has Nora's intolerance actually destroyed the church? No. Now, Gerry does have a pretty powerful plan to stop the church's tax exemption. Does Nora have a plan? No. That's something. Whereas so far, the 20 years, 10 years of hatred by Aaron and Nora and Liz Gale and Ellie, what has it yielded? Nothing. It has not yielded a single conviction. It has not yielded a single criminal case. It has not yielded a single legal victory. But Gerry does have a legal victory. Gerry does have a long record of Guatemala, tons of receipts, and he does seem to have a game plan. Whether it's going to work, maybe, maybe not, but at least we have something. So at least on the first point, Alanzo is correct. Concentrating on putting the top leadership in jail should be the agenda, but it's not, which is mighty curious. And so far, all this yelping and crying, yada, yada, and screaming, do you have anything that will put David Miscavige in jail? No, you don't have anything. But maybe Gerry does. So there we go. Them's the breaks. Still, it is alarming that Gerry and other people are willing to look past DOA's criminal behavior because it's convenient, which, again, does not mean that they're OSA agents. It just means that we are compromising our values, right? Which is where we are now. We've been there for a while, and that is where we are.